Hey guys, my name is Mr. Silhouette, and I've decided to set up a YouTube channel to add my voice to the growing number of people who are sick of SJWs and feminists trying to take away our freedoms in the name of turning the West into an enormous safe space where any idea that does not align with the far left can land you in a heap of trouble with our marginalized overlords. I'm a very proud egalitarian, and I believe that everyone should be given the same opportunities in life, the same assistance and value in life, but also the same expectation of civility. If it's wrong for one part of society to behave a certain way, then it's wrong for all of society to behave that way. I don't give any credence to the idea that there's no such thing as sexism against men or racism against whites. And I think that Pat Beidel, who authored the Power Plus Prejudice quote, can go jump in a lake. I believe that we should help everyone we can, especially the poorest and most vulnerable members of our communities, regardless of their ethnicity. But I don't believe that oppression is something clearly defined by race or gender. I don't believe that a middle-class black woman is oppressed by a homeless white man. So, in order to officially start my channel, I thought I would revisit some of the most infamous videos from our feminist counterparts to give my opinion on some of their finest moments of idiotic bigotry. Enjoy. God, 2014. So long ago. We were so young back then. We had it all in front of us. The world was our lobster.
Your Excellencies, UN Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, Executive Director of UN Women.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it!
And distinguished guests.
Get on with it!
Today, we are launching a campaign called He for She. We want to end gender inequality. And to do this, we want to try and galvanize as many men and boys as possible to be advocates for change.
Well, that sounded creepy as fuck.
This is the first campaign of its kind at the UN.
Bullshit.
I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly.
Dude, I don't know what you're complaining about. There are loads of female Quidditch players.
And the more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realized that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating.
Whoa, hold your horses there, Emma. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. Fighting for women's rights has not become synonymous with man-hating. Fighting for feminism has become synonymous with man-hating. Feminism is full of crap like the patriarchy and rape culture that leaves women feeling like perpetual victims and men like constant abusers. That's kind of like saying, hey, do you believe in treating other people equally? Well, then you're a Christian. No, because treating people equally is only one part of Christianity. There's a hell of a lot more to Christianity than just that. But you're certainly doing a lot to challenge the idea that feminism means man-hating, considering that your movement is called He for She, and the definition of for is to suit the purposes of, to suit the needs of, or belonging to. So, literally, he suits the purposes or needs of / belongs to she. Yeah, sounds like equality to me too, Emma.
Women are choosing not to identify as feminist.
Those bitches.
Apparently, I am among the ranks of women whose expressions are seen as too strong, too aggressive, and anti-men. Unattractive, even.
Punch.
Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one?
Feminism has become something of a dirty word in certain circles.
Ah, Huffington Post. I remember when you were only moderately stupid.
Lately, a lot of high-profile women like Shailene Woodley, Meryl Streep, and Marion Cotillard have gone on record saying they are not feminists.
Which was okay with you because you respect their individuality and opinions, right? Right? You called them a bunch of crazy skanks, didn't you?
But what are these women really saying when they declare they aren't feminists?
They're saying they're not feminists.
What they think they're saying is, I don't hate men, I love men.
I don't think women are better than men.
I'm a cool woman.
Yeah, like I said, they're saying they're not feminists.
Hating men and being a feminist are actually not connected at all. Not even a little bit.
Well, would you mind telling other feminists that feminism is not about hating men? Because I think quite a lot of them didn't get the message. Seriously, why don't you blame them for doing it rather than blame us for noticing? I mean, have a look at these quotes from famous feminist leaders. To me, they seem just a little bit man-hating. Is there any other political movement that has to deny hatred so often? Every video or article they churn out has to have the dictionary definition in it because too many people are seeing through their ruse.
It's a little more complicated than that. The dictionary offers a very simple explanation because it's just the dictionary.
Exactly. You tell them, Franny. Oh, and don't worry. I'll be back to deal with your BS later.
Men are not systematically oppressed based on their gender, and that's a fact.
I'm not sure you know what a fact is, because men face systematic oppression in divorce courts, in criminal courts, in affirmative action hiring quotas, and in scholarships.
So if you believe any of the following,
Reproductive rights,
Which we have.
equal pay for equal work,
Which we have.
seeing diverse bodies, ethnicities, and gender expressions on screen and in magazines,
Which we have.
having women in government, having women CEOs,
Which we have.
providing education to 62 million girls who don't have access to it,
ending sexual violence. You know, basic gender equality.
That would not be basic gender equality, given that men face those issues too. If you want gender equality, then fight for all children to receive education, and for sexual violence to be recognized as something that affects males too, because it badly needs appropriate funding for shelters and services.
Feel free to identify or not identify any way you want. But if you say you're not a feminist, at least understand what the term actually means.
Well, according to this video, being a feminist means demanding rights you already have, claiming that problems which affect everybody are women's issues, and looking up the dictionary definition of feminism, but not looking up words like sexism, bigotry, or fact. Also, don't feel free to identify any way you want. Feel very much compelled to identify their way, or else be prepared to be treated like a heretic.
The rumors are true. What they've been saying about me.
You're from another planet. I called it. I so called it.
I have to come clean. I, Lacey Green, am a feminist.
Ah, shit.
What? You're a lesbian now? Man-hater? Hairy armpits? Ain't it so? It's gonna be okay. Those are just stereotypes.
Lacey, given that you're both attracted to women and cultivating bird nests under your arm, I would say that you're in no position to dismiss those as stereotypes.
I'm a feminist because girls are taught in public school that once she has sex, she'll lose a part of herself.
The hymen doesn't necessarily break during first intercourse, but it can, and often does. For a sexologist, you're not very keen on people being educated about sex. Unless I've misunderstood you and you mean the part that she'll lose is
Her soul!
Because male victims of rape aren't believed since guys want sex all the time anyway, right?
society not taking male victims of sexual abuse seriously is not a cause of feminism, it's because of feminism. Look at India. Look at Jerusalem. There, feminist groups have actively stopped the passage of gender-neutral rape laws that would recognize male victims and female perpetrators. And back home, we have campaigns like Don't Be That Guy and slogans like Teach Men Not to Rape to remind everyone that this is a crime that only men commit. Now, I'm going to give Lacey some credit here. She's one of the only feminists I could name who continually says that men can be sexually abused.
Another myth when it comes to men is the belief that men can't actually be raped. Men want sex all the time. He had an erection. He was into it. But an erection is not consent. And increased blood flow can be a fight or flight response.
I believe she means it when she says that she wants to help them. But the truth is, the best help she could give them is by tearing down feminist institutions and narratives about rape.
I'm a feminist because my first boyfriend sexually assaulted me, and when I went to my friends for help, they called me a slut.
Wait, so you joined a political movement because your friends were assholes? Most people would just get better friends.
Because boobs are used to sell everything from burgers to soap, but don't you dare breastfeed out in the open.
Lacey, breastfeeding is perfectly legal in the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, France, Germany, and in 49 of the 50 states. For some reason, Idaho doesn't like it. But why is breastfeeding nudity okay with you, but not commercial nudity? Either you advocate for society to be relaxed about nudity, or you advocate for it to be uptight and prudish. You can't have it both ways.
Because of labiaplasties, boob jobs, hymenoplasties.
God, there's an argument about this. Something about your body and being able to control it. Crap, it'll come back to me.
Women only hold 1 in 4 STEM jobs. We own 6% of TV stations, 5% of executive positions in the media.
And yet, women control 80% of the consumer market. In fact, according to the Harvard Business Review, women control almost $30 trillion globally, despite earning less than $20 trillion. Wonder where all that extra money is coming from.
Feminist because in 10th grade someone called my best friend a pussy and it tore him up for weeks.
Well, your friend sure proved them wrong. Bet they felt pretty stupid after that.
I'm a feminist because in every corner of the world, every day, women's bodies are used as a battleground in wars started by men. Raped, beaten, sold into slavery, mutilated, burned with acid.
And all of the men who were tortured, beaten, starved, raped, mutilated, and killed? Did they just not matter because most of the people doing it to them also had penises? Their bodies can just lie in unmarked graves because they weren't the right kind of victim? It's interesting how your source for victims of rape doesn't actually specify the gender of the victim or perpetrator, and yet you just assumed they were all cases of male on female. Well, this source comes from a report by Dara K. Cohen, and here's what he had to say about the gender factor in rape. Perpetrators and victims may not be what we expect them to be. Perpetrators are also not exclusively male, nor are victims exclusively female. Policymakers should not neglect non-stereotypical perpetrators and victims. Recent research suggests that female combatants sometimes perpetrate wartime rape and other forms of sexual violence. Why is this evidence only now beginning to emerge? One reason is that researchers typically have not asked respondents about the sex of their perpetrators, instead assuming that the perpetrators are always male. Weren't you just talking about how you were a feminist to help recognize male victims of rape? Well, you done fucked that up, didn't you? Oh God, not BuzzFeed. Urgh. All right, let's get through this.
How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
Feels good, because he shares all of his wealth with us. Just last week, Ivanka gave me a blowjob on board his private plane.
Why do you automatically assume that you won't like TV or movies that star a female lead?
Well, you've definitely got me there. I can't think of a single TV or movie with a female lead that ever got anywhere. I mean, it's not like the highest grossing movie of all time before 2009 had a female lead. And it's definitely not like that movie is currently rated as the second highest grossing, with the third highest grossing also having a female lead.
Are you surprised when women are funny?
I'm probably funnier than you.
Yes, you definitely look like a barrel of laughs. Please don't hurt me.
In what world does no mean yes?
No means no.
Hey, college-age guys! Know how rape? Know how it's a crime? Know how it's taken really seriously and people who've been found innocent still committed suicide because they couldn't live with the stigma of having been accused? Yeah! Apparently you're not supposed to do it! Who knew?
Why is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped?
Not every person who says they have been raped has been. Not every person who says they didn't commit the crime is telling the truth. We live in a world where people tell lies, and that's why we have the presumption of innocence. And you know what? Most people don't doubt the claimant. They simply reserve judgment until they know more. That doesn't stop them from hearing the alleged victim's story or from providing them with access to shelter and counseling. You can help a victim immensely without ever trespassing on the rights of the accused. Everybody has the right to be heard, but nobody has the right to be believed.
Why do you assume a woman's angry because she's on her period?
Do you mean, why do I assume a woman is on her period because she's angry? The way you asked it makes it sound as if she could come home and say, "Hi, honey, I feel great. My period has barely even bothered me today." And I'll respond with, "Ah! Kill it! It's so angry!" I don't actually assume when a woman is angry that it must be because she's on her period. But if I ever did, it's because for most women there is a hormonal link between the two. Plain and simple.
Why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
Because you voted for them. Women are the single biggest voting bloc in the world. If they collectively do not want something, it will not happen. So I can only assume the reason there are a bunch of, insert demographic here, making laws is because women are okay with it. There are plenty of men who agree with abortions and plenty of women who don't. You vote in those who think like you, not who look like you.
Do you have a coochie?
This is one of the questions, by the way. This is question 24 out of 36. They only had to come up with 36, and they decided to ask if men had coochies as one of them. No, I do not have a coochie.
What world does 77 cents equal $1?
In what world does $18 trillion equal $28 trillion? Has it ever occurred to you that men have nothing to gain from women earning less? In fact, they have everything to lose given that it's probably half of their home's income. If the wage gap existed, men would be fighting with, not against you.
Why are you so afraid of gender equality?
Not only am I not afraid of it, I'm actively fighting for it. Women have several rights more than men in the West, and I would like that to be addressed.
Why aren't you speaking up when you hear your male friends behind closed doors make jokes that are offensive to women?
It's curious that you say jokes that are offensive to, but not necessarily about, women. So any joke that could ever offend any woman, regardless of the subject, is off the table. And presumably any joke that could ever offend any man is also off the table. Unless, of course, you're afraid of equality. Funny girl. So, what have we learned today, then? We've learned that Emma Watson is a fraud, that Lacey Green is an idiot, that Huffington Post is sexist, and that BuzzFeed can go to hell. What else is new? Hopefully you enjoyed yourself. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I can improve upon, and I'll see you all again real soon.